Hello and welcome to this Facebook Live. Thank you very much for joining me. I've got my glasses on. I don't really need them, but I'm going to keep them on. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to be talking about customer retention, really a critical area. With all of the work that I do with companies around in building relationships with their customers, looking at their most valued top 20 customers, one of the analysis I do is really understanding the retention quota for businesses, and many businesses don't really look at this figure. The lifetime value of your customer is so important. Let me just press this. I don't know why I have a camera that keeps pulsating. I really try and sort this out each week and then find that it doesn't. But anyway, so let me introduce myself before I launch into all of this great content that I'm really looking forward to giving you this afternoon. So my name is Janice Gordon. I'm here to talk to you about customer retention, really critical area. But you know, I help businesses to grow primarily through their customers. I think customers are the most important aspect, almost like an employee in your company. They're the ones that bring in the most money. If they were an employee in your company, you'd actually be valuing them greatly if it was the key person that was bringing in all of the money, paying all the salaries. Well, guess what? That is what your customer is, exactly that. And it's really important to almost have them, you know, like if you're having a meeting with key people, personnel within your business or advisors, actually have a seat at the table and call it customer. So you're constantly considering your customer's view. What does this mean to your customer? You're taking their perspective. Now, I've done a whole series of Facebook Live based on becoming customer centric or improving your customer centricity. And I've talked about products and the people within your company. So today I'm talking about customer retention, a key area. So a lot of the strategies that I use, the strategies that I've used with large and small companies. I mean, one client, I helped them grow their business by over 6 million. And this was really getting them to really consider the business from the customer's perspective, everything that they were doing. And so these are the strategies that I talk to you that you can use in your business as well. So this is Wednesday Wisdom. Thank you very much for joining me. We're talking about customer retention and why it's so important to your business. Now, although, you know, it costs a lot less money to retain an existing customer than it does to find a new customer, it's really interesting that businesses, that companies, and especially large companies, and we feel this as customers, put an awful lot of investment on gaining new customers and not enough investment in retaining their existing customers. We see this all the time when we're leaving our mobile phone, we're trying to switch. We have all of these things that are suddenly thrown at us, you know, to keep us there, because all of a sudden they've seen the value in us. But why didn't they offer us all of these things when we wanted to remain with them rather than when we're looking to leave? We experience this all the time. And the thing is, smaller businesses, medium-sized businesses, they maintain this poor behavior towards their existing customers for some reason. And I think also I see a lot in sales teams as well. They're incentivized by bringing in new contracts. They're not incentivized in building relationships. They're not incentivized for gathering more data, more valuable information about their existing customer. They're not incentivized for growing the relationships within their customer's company. They're not incentivized on those things, and they're the things that actually enable you to sell more into your existing customer, because you have relationships, you get more information, you realize what their wider needs, and you're able to service them. So it's typical, whether you're a large or small or business, and that your business model is not putting in nearly enough investment or nearly enough energy into maintaining and servicing your existing customers. So that's what we're talking about today. And I'm going to give you 7. No, that's 6. 7. No, I should forget about that there. Anyway, 7 strategies. And because it's quite a lot, I've got a few kind of listed down here. But first of all, let me tell you why you should be doing this. You know, it's estimated that 1/3 of all overall money spent, now this is in the online space, comes from returning customers. So if your customer enjoyed the product and service, then they're going to return, but they'll only return if you're still forefront of the mind. So there's all the strategies to make sure you are forefront of the mind. But that's 1/3 of customer that you're not really having to invest in getting them as new customers. 1/3 of them return. But not only that, this is the powerful thing. They then spend 3 times more. Remember, this is in the online space, 3 times more than a new customer. So not only have you not had to invest in gaining them because they've already your existing customer base, you just have to maintain it so they're forefront of the mind, but they're going to spend 3 times more. So that's kind of easy money. So why aren't we doing that? And these figures are very similar in the business to business space. But the reason why you lose customers is because 68% of them leave because they're unhappy with the service that they've received. And so that's an easy thing to do, really. So you think, well, why aren't more people doing it? 14% are unhappy with the product and the service. Often companies are completely unaware of how unhappy their customers are because they're not surveying, they're not getting feedback. So this is one of the strategies that I will talk about. But also 9% go to another competitor. Now, you know, if you're really happy with your product, your service, you're happy with the experience you've got, it doesn't matter if it's cheaper for a product or a service from another customer. There is a reticence to move because we tend to, our human nature is to remain with what we know. We feel comfortable, we've built trust, we know what we're going to get. So there is a barrier to people leaving, and we need to capitalise on that by actually making sure that we're meeting our ongoing needs of our existing customers. So customer retention, it is a percentage of the percentage of customers that remain with you because you have a relationship, an existing relationship with them. They remain with you long term. That's what it is. So it's actually the lifetime value of the customer that keeps coming back again and again. Customer retention, quite simply, is keeping your customers happy. And I've talked about this before, ways and strategies you can do that. But you know, it's about keeping your customers happy. It's about them being the core of your business, having a seat at the table, having that chair sitting there saying customer, and considering and communicating with them on a regular basis because you want to remain forefront of mind. You really want them to be the most important aspect to your company, because you know that if you had a salesperson in your company that was bringing in 90% of the revenue, they would be a key person in your company. Well, your customers are key people within your company as well. So it's really, really important for you to, you know, ensure that you keep your customers happy, keep them coming back again and again. So often companies fail to realise this, and that's why I talk about it so much. It is so much more expensive to get a new customer than to keep a customer. And even if you just kept your customer, you'd be very much more profitable than actually having to pay to bring in to new customers, simply because they buy so much more for you. They've already built up the relationship and the trust. All you have to do is maintain it. Think about this, you know, like If you're a couch potato and you start training, it's quite painful at first, but as you progress with your training, actually you don't have to put quite so much effort into it when you're maintaining your fitness level. You can miss a few days, you can go on holiday and do nothing. You come back, within a few sessions, you're back to your fitness level. Your muscle has memory, and so it remembers what training is like, and it snaps back into what it's used to, having done all the years and months of work prior to that. It's no different in your business. Your customers have a memory. They've built up trust with you, and actually they want to remain with you because it's easy for them than to go looking elsewhere. You need to capitalize on that. So I'm going to give you 7 strategies to actually do that. The first one is to prioritize your top 20 most valued customers. Again, when I go into companies and ask them, who are your most valued customers? Describe why are they different to the rest? Can you identify them? Can you name them? Can you give me the characteristics of them? Who are they? So many companies don't know who their top 20 is. And this is the Pareto's principle. That your top 20 brings in 80% of your profits. Now, if you don't know who they are and you're treating everyone the same, then you're wasting a lot of energy. So the first thing is before you start looking at your retention strategy, is really just to look at, who are your top 20? Who are the people that are remaining with you, your most valued, your long term? Who are the ones that are bringing in the most revenues from? Who are the ones that are a pleasure to work with? Start to segment and characterize who they are, because you're not going to retain the ones that are costing you the most money, that are a pain in the arse to actually deal with, the ones that don't actually give you much revenue. What's the point in having a retention strategy for the ones that are draining your business? So that's the first thing. You've really got to understand who are your most valued customers, your top 20. And then you're going to implement a retention strategy, because if they are your top 20 and, with the Pareto's principle, that means they're bringing 80% of your revenues into your business. You only need a few of them to leave and your profits have gone down, your revenues have gone down. So that's why that is your top priority, really understanding who they are, who are the ones that you really want to put the energy and the investment in and retain. It doesn't mean that you ignore the rest, but you have a different retention strategy for the rest. So the more you segment your business and really understand the character of your customers and understand which are the ones that are absolutely key to the future of your business, the ones that you want to maintain long term, they're the ones that are your top priority to invest in. So, it's important that you speak to your most valued customers, because you can find out so much information. I've talked about a lot of this before. When was the last time you interviewed your top customers? When was the last time you took them out for lunch? When was the last time you really kind of sat in your customer's environment? Last week I talked about having your frontline staff actually sitting in your customer's environment and understanding what it's like to order or to buy from your business, having them in your customer's field of vision. So, you need to do this as well, understand what it's like to do business with you from your customer's perspective, and understand what the customer's world looks like. What are their key problems? Because you could be missing out on lots of opportunities there. And the more you sell, the more touch points you have with your customers, the more your customer is embedded into your business, that they have a variety of your products or they're reliant on you for a particular volume that's important to them, the less likely is that they're going to leave. It's important that you move your relationships from transactional to partnership relationship so that you two are working in unison to understand that, you know, if one business goes down, it has a detrimental effect on the other. So you need to work together and you have that level of understanding. So you really must not only identify who are your top 20, but also you must speak to them on a regular basis as well. Then you've got to go the extra mile. So this is the second thing. This is the second strategy to retain your customers. You have got to go the extra mile, because if they're important and most valued customers, they're potentially important most valued customers to your competitors as well. And they're going to be snapping around the heels, sniffing around, trying to look for opportunities to win them over. So, you know, as I said about muscle memory, you know, like, or, you know, your fitness level, you don't have to do quite so much to maintain as you do to start from the beginning with a new relationship, but you still have to invest in it as well. You still have to maintain it, and what you need to do is continually go the extra mile. So what you need to do is not just have a view that you're just going to keep it the same level. You want to push for more. You want to know more about that customer. You can't be lazy and sit on your laurels about this. You've really got to, you know, keep venturing and pushing to go that extra mile, to surprise them a little bit more, to reward them a little bit more, to understand them a little bit more. This is really going the extra mile. Seth Godin, in his book Purple Cow, really talks about this, and that being remarkable in today's world is, with all of the distractions that, you know, customers have within their business and within their environment, with all of these distractions, you as their most valued partner have to stand out. You have to go the extra mile. You can't just be vanilla anymore. So it's really important that this is one of the strategies to retaining your most valued customers. It's easy to stand out if you go the extra mile, if you really think about, you know, what it is about your customers that will keep them happy. You're constantly looking for opportunities to do that. You know, the age-old saying is that people do business with those that they trust and those that they already have a relationship with. These are the competitive advantages that you can work on. It hasn't got anything to do with your product and your service. It's got a lot to do with your personality, your culture, your the way that you do business. And so these are the things you need to continue to understand each other's culture and continue to exchange information on that basis, just to make sure that you're touching the right points with your customer. And so you really need to build a trusted relationship with the customer and share similar values. In order to share values, you need to understand what their values are. What are their cultural values? What are their cultural norms? And so you've got to be really interested, absolutely totally committed to understanding your customers, and let them know that you really care, that you're really asking the questions because you want to do more, you want to service them better, that you're constantly looking for feedback and coming up with ideas, things that won't benefit you but that will absolutely benefit them. So you're passing information that they may not have seen. You're coming up with ideas. They can see that you're really working hard on their behalf. There will be no reason for them to go anywhere else if they see that you have shared values and you are genuinely interested in their business. So then the third thing is to be really listening. Really listening and implementing feedback that you get. So you've got to, gather the feedback, really listen to the customer, because they are got a seat at the table. They are the most important aspect of your business. They see that you care about them. They see that you're always really working hard and going the extra mile. But you've got to listen. Never assume. You've always got to be listening, having a listening ear and looking for opportunities. And this may be that you're connected with all the key people or all aspects of their business on social media. You're actually listening to what they're putting out, you know, and you're looking for opportunities to support them on that. So it's really about having a listening and being totally connected with where they are. Customer churn can be avoided simply by listening out. Customers often give an indication of dissatisfaction. They may not verbalize it to you, but it may be that things that they're putting out socially, events that they're going to, they may be, you know, scoping out and looking at. If you're aware of that, then you can start to put a picture together and understand that there's aspects of your business that you're not servicing your customer well enough. So you've really got to be looking for feedback and monitoring and surveying, and really have, you know, use both ears to be listening out for opportunities, listening out for, you know, concerns, listening for, you know, areas that you can continue to add value for your customers. By understanding, you know, this feedback that you get from them, either directly or indirectly by listening out, you can better serve your customer. So then the fourth area is focus on your customer experience. Now, I'm not going to go too much into this because I've talked loads about customer experience in previous Facebook Live sessions and in my blogs. I've talked about it so much, but it's really important to understand that, you know, a way of increasing customer retention is by having excellent customer experience, and also having you know, a customer experience that is more personal, that's more engaged with the customer's needs, so you can make the experience personal for your top 20, your most valued customers. You can have more loyalty programs for them, VIP, you know, special invitation, exclusive clubs, you know, things that will reward them. You know, you've got to get more feedback from them, you've got to listen more from them, and you've got to make sure that you act on any feedback, you act on any complaints, that your response time is very much quicker. You know, it goes up you know, to more senior managers that have those types of relationships with your most valued customers. So, you know, the service experience has got to be excellent. It can't just be satisfactory for your most valued customers. You know, I've given you lots of ways of actually doing that in previous sessions, so I'm not going to focus on that too much. So it's, you know, it's about engaging. I've talked a lot about engagement as well, but it's about understanding that engagement, it allows you to build the relationship, to solidify the trust. But you don't always have to do it face to face. There's lots of ways to do it. You know, like I've talked about listening, but it's using all the omni channels to make sure that you're engaging with your customer. Now, your favourite platform might be LinkedIn, but actually from your customers, they may get a lot more engagement through Facebook or through a whole host of other platforms. So it may not be your favorite one, but if your top customers are there, you need to be there as well. You need to be engaging with them at their level, not at your level, because you're not really that important. You know, really you're not. I've said this before. It's really about your customers. So you really need to go where they are, engage with them, how they want to be engaged, when they want to be engaged, where they want to be engaged. And the only way you're going to know that is listening and getting feedback, and, you know, monitoring and assessing how successful the strategies that you've used to develop the engagement with that particular customer, with that particular market. You know, you can actually measure these things and then, you know, work on more innovative ways of actually doing it, so that you're moving the relationship leadership from a 0 to a 1 to a 3 to a 4 to a 5, you know, and then you're looking at other people within the organization that you can engage with as well. Because, you know, we may look from, you know, from a business point of view, it may be company to company, but it's people to people, it's individual to individual. So you need to understand the culture and the environment and the roles that people play, and engage with them from people to people, personality to personality, on an individual basis across the organisation. So engagement is absolutely key. So it's really important that, you know, you make a choice on the different products and services, and the customers make a choice on the different products and services, and they we're very much biased to the products and services that we are most exposed to, the people that we most engage with, the things we are most familiar with. So the thing with engagement, the thing with content marketing, the thing with kind of online listening, you know, the thing with being forefront of mind as often as possible. And that's what you want. You don't want to be in your face, but you just want to be there all the time. So when your customer is ready, you know, you're there. So you really need to think of strategies that isn't spammy, that are really intelligent strategies to make sure that you're constantly forefront of mind, so that you're engaging with them, but you're there for them, and you're thinking about them, you're considering them, and they are aware that you're considering them all the time. So, you know, you use your omni channels for that, rather than just, you know, kind of focusing on any one area. So then the sixth thing, I can't do my fingers, I should stop doing it because I can't do it. The sixth thing is this is providing evidence, social proof. You know, like when you're looking at not only new but existing customers, you've got to remind them how good you are. You've got to remind them what you do, because these are long-term relationships. So you can't do a bit of business and leave it for a year. You've really got to not only remain forefront of the mind, but you've got to remind them why you're so good. Remind them why they should coming back. So if you're promoting testimonials that you've got from other clients, and you're putting that out there, your existing client, you know, will see that, and that will register in their mind. If you're writing white papers of you know, things that are relevant to your customer, then that will remain front of mind. If you're really understanding the needs of your customer, and it may not be related strictly to your products and service, but you're providing that for them, you know, look through case studies and, you know, relevant information, case studies of things you've done for other customers. They may think, oh, we can ask them to do that as well, you know, or companies that you've aligned with to create something for a customer. They may think, oh, perhaps we can get them to do that for us as well. So, you know, case studies, white papers, testimonials, all of these things you need to be putting out there, because it helps customers to keep you forefront of mind, but also to think of how they can work with you further, what more you can do. It gives them those types of ideas. So it's really important for you to put that out there, but you can only really put testimonials, case studies, all of that if you're gathering that, if you're constantly gathering that kind of feedback and looking for opportunities to demonstrate why you're so good, without actually blowing your own horn. Because, you know, the best testimonials, the best adverts are not the ones that come from us, but the ones that comes from our clients. So what you need to do is gather that. When a customer or client is happy, when you've done a brilliant job, at that point is when you should get your testimonial. At that point, you need to, you know, make sure that you gather that information at the point when they're happiest, at the point where you've really made a difference. That's the point. And then you need to share it with the rest of your audience, the rest of your most valued customers. So then the seventh thing is strategy is demonstrating your expertise, right? This is absolutely key, because, you know, you're different to your competitors, but customers don't always know how different you are and what's the difference. You may have key people within your company, or you may be the key person. You have a particular expertise. It's important that you constantly share that expertise. Businesses that become more dependent on your expertise status, they do, because if you're the only company, the only person to go for that, then they've got no choice but to come to you for that. If you're vanilla, you know, and you do everything for anybody, then it's difficult for them to select you. So it's really important to understand, and this really does build loyalty by you being able to stand and say, this is my expertise status, this is what I do. And it's important for you to say to customers, that's not my core area, this is, because then they have real clarity on why they're coming to you. It really does build a great deal of loyalty. So no matter what industry you're in and what position that you occupy, it's important that you have a particular field that you specialise in, because your customers will know to go to you for X. And what is that X? So you need to describe it, and you need to continually put it out there that this is the area where you're you have your expert status in. You know more about this area than anyone else, and you actually, that's you kind of blowing your own horn, but you've got to be able to back it up and really become the trusted advisor for that particular thing. If you can own the key words, key phrases for that, if you can be number one on Google for that, you know, then all the better. So potential customers will come looking for you rather than you having to go selling yourself to them, because they're looking for, you know, the trusted advisor, the expert in this particular area. So it's really important that you understand what that is, that you communicate that, and it will help you to build loyalty and help your customers to remain with you for that particular thing. So it's important for you to understand what it is and to promote that. So you've got to demonstrate your expertise, and again, you can do that through all of the information that you send out: white papers, blogging, articles, you know, speaking engagement. There's lots of ways to become an expert and a trusted advisor in the particular space that you can command. So, you know, and I've got a blog. When I post this blog on Monday, I will do a link to another blog I've done about becoming an expert that fits in here. So I hope that's been really useful to you, talking about these 7 areas, 7 strategies you can use to retain your customers. And I hope you understand why it's so important to retain your customers. They buy so much more from you, they cost so much less for you to maintain them. But it's important that you understand that your 20 most valued customers, or your 20% most valued, bring in most revenue. So this is your area of focus in terms of your retention strategy. And this is a strategy where you will provide excellent, absolutely on the nail, excellent customer experience. You'll absolutely prioritize, you know, that group of people. You'll have loyalty or VIP, or, you know, you'll go the extra mile for them. You'll really listen out and follow them, you know, and not stalk them, but really follow them, listen to what they have to say, and make sure that they're sitting at the table with you, absolutely core to your business. Your engagement strategy with them will be kind of ratchet up a level, because one or two of your most valued people walk away, can have a detrimental effect on your business. So it's important that you really value them, you have them at the core to your business strategy, and you use these strategies, you know, to ensure that you're retaining them over the long period of time. So the lifetime value that you're gaining from servicing them and becoming more of a partner in their business is mutually beneficial on both sides. So it's really important for you to understand who they are and be able to recognise them and to put the investments in place in order to retain them going on into the future. So I've hopefully you've really gained and you've thought about, who are my top 20? How can I listen to them? You know, what is the experience that I'm giving them that's unique and different to other vanilla customers I may have, you know, and working out what is their lifetime value and how you can maintain the relationship and continue to build the relationship across the board with that business, and make sure that it's mutually beneficial partnership. All right, so I'll see you next week for Wednesday Wisdom. I'm going to continue to talk about customer centricity and all the strategies that you can use to grow your business. Please, please, please comment and share this. Let me know that, you know, this is of value to you, and then I'll keep doing it. It's difficult speaking to myself. I do it all the time. So yeah, it's lovely. Thank you very much for sharing your time. Make sure you share this, show some love, and I'll be posting a blog on Monday on the problem-solver.com so that you actually have all of this content and you can start using it on Tuesday, if not today. All right, take care. See you soon. Bye.